The warning siren screamed across the Galactic Council's main monitoring station. Kim Yu dropped his analysis tablet and rushed to the main display screen. His forearms moved quickly across the controls, trying to make sense of what the sensors were showing him. "This cannot be right," Kim Yu whispered. The readings showed massive ships appearing from nowhere at the edge of Council space. No hyperspace signatures, no energy trails. They just appeared like ghosts in the night. Admiral Park Hyun stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the alien space station grow larger on his screens. His gray hair was neat and his uniform pressed perfectly. He looked calm, but his hands were steady on the command chair. "Sir, we are getting many signals from that station," reported Captain Choi Bin from his position. "They seem very upset." Park Hyun smiled a little. "I expected that." "Lee Soo, are you ready for first contact?" Lee Soo nodded from her seat. She was the best diplomat Earth had, and she spoke 17 alien languages. Today would test all her skills. "Ready, Admiral." "Should I mention that we have been watching them?" "Not yet," Park Hyun said. "Let them think we just arrived." On the Council station, emergency meetings were starting in every sector. The Velkari were clicking their claws nervously. The Thrain were changing colors rapidly, showing their fear. The massive Gorvek were making deep rumbling sounds that made the wall shake. "Where did they come from?" demanded Council Leader Vorth. His tentacles waved in the air as he spoke. "Our sensors show nothing." "No ships were there, then suddenly a whole fleet appears." Kim Yu was still working at his station. The new ships were like nothing in any database. They were long and sharp, colored in dark gray and blue. They seemed to bend light around them, making them hard to see clearly. "Leader Vorth," Kim Yu called out. "These ships, they are using technology we do not understand. Their hulls are made of materials not in our records. Their energy readings are impossible." The council chamber filled with worried voices in dozens of languages. Some species were calling for immediate military response. Others wanted to hide and hope the strangers would go away. Then the communication came in. "Greetings, Galactic Council." The voice was clear and calm. It spoke in perfect galactic standard, though with a strange accent. "This is Admiral Park Hyun of the Earth Defense Fleet. We come in peace and request permission to speak with your leaders." The chamber went silent. Earth? No planet by that name existed in any council records. Leader Vorth activated the reply system with shaking tentacles. "Unknown fleet, you have entered council space without permission. Identify yourselves and your intentions immediately." Park Hyun's face appeared on the main screen. He was clearly not from any known species. His skin was a light brown color and he had small eyes and black hair. Most strange of all, he was smiling. "We are humans from the planet Earth," Park Hyun said. "We have come to formally request membership in the Galactic Council. We believe it is time our species joined the galactic community." "Humans?" Leader Vorth repeated. "We have no record of your species. Where is this Earth?" "Earth is our home world. We have been watching your council for some time and have decided we would like to participate in galactic affairs." The words sent chills through every council member present. "Watching them? For how long?" Kim Yu was frantically searching databases. No Earth, no humans. No record of any species matching what they saw on screen. It was as if these beings had appeared from empty space itself. "You say you have been watching us?" Leader Vorth said carefully. "For how long?" Park Hyun glanced at someone off-screen before answering. "Our observation teams have been studying council species for approximately 57 of your standard years." Panic erupted in the chamber. 57 years. These humans had been spying on them for over half a century and no one had noticed. "That is impossible," shouted a Velkari representative. "Our security systems would have detected any unauthorized presence in our space." "Your security systems are quite good," Park Hyun admitted. "But we have found ways to work around them. We did not want to make contact until we better understood your cultures and customs." Lee Soo stepped forward into the camera view. She was younger than Park Hyun, with long black hair tied back neatly. "We have spent decades learning your languages and studying your history. We know about the Great Wars, the trade agreements of Velor, and the swarm attacks from 2 centuries ago. We have watched you grow into a peaceful alliance and we wish to join you." The council members looked at each other with growing fear. These humans knew their history better than some species remembered it themselves. "What do you want from us?" Leader Vorth asked. "Only membership and friendship," Park Hyun replied. "We offer our technology, our resources, and our friendship to the council. In return, We ask to be recognized as equals in the galactic community. And if we refuse? A Gorvek representative rumbled. Park Hyun's smile never changed. Then we will be disappointed, but we will respect your decision. We are not here to force anything on anyone. Kim Yu was still analyzing the human ships. The readings made no sense. The smallest human vessel was showing energy output equal to a council battlecruiser. The largest ship was showing readings that broke his instruments. Leader Vorth, Kim Yu called quietly. You need to see these readings. Vorth moved to Kim Yu's station and looked at the displays. His tentacles went completely still, which for his species meant extreme shock. The human fleet was not just large. It was impossibly powerful. Any one of their ships could probably destroy the entire council station. Yet they sat there calmly, making polite conversation about membership. How many ships do you have? Leader Vorth asked when he returned to his seat. In our diplomatic fleet? 47 vessels, Park Hyun answered. Though this is just a small group for first contact. Just a small group. The council's entire defense fleet had 30 ships, and these humans called 47 a small diplomatic mission. We will need time to consider your request, Leader Vorth said. Of course, Park Hyun nodded. We understand this is unexpected. We will wait in space outside your territory for your decision. Please take all the time you need. The communication ended, leaving the council chamber in shocked silence. What do we do? Someone whispered. Kim Yu was still staring at his instruments. The human ships had not moved, but they were still somehow scanning everything around them. These beings had technology that made council science look like children playing with toys. We need to learn more about them, Leader Vorth finally said. Kim Yu, I want you to study everything about these humans. Find out what we are dealing with. As Kim Yu worked through the night, one thought kept returning to his mind. If the humans had been watching them for 57 years, what else did they know? And more importantly, what were they not telling the council? The galaxy had just become a much more dangerous place. 3 days had passed since the humans arrived, and the council still had no answers. Leader Vorth called an emergency session with representatives from all major species present. We must test these humans, declared Warlord Thex, the crystalline champion of the Korthak Empire. His body was made of living crystal that caught the light like diamonds. He stood 3 meters tall and was famous across the galaxy for never losing a fight. Words mean nothing. Let them prove their intentions in honorable combat. Many council members nodded in agreement. Combat trials were an old tradition, used to settle disputes and test new species for centuries. Admiral Park Hyun listened to the proposal through his communication link. On the human flagship, his officers gathered around him. They want single combat? Asked Captain Choi Bin. This seems like a trap. No, said Lee Su, studying her cultural notes. This is actually an honor for them. They are treating us as equals by offering this challenge. Oh, damn, the fleet's military strategist shook her head. Admiral Thex is famous. He has never lost a fight. His crystal body can stop energy weapons and his strength can crush steel. Park Hyun was quiet for a moment. Then he spoke to his ship's communication officer. Send a message to the council. We accept their challenge. When the message reached the council station, Warlord Thex laughed. The sound was like breaking glass. Which of their warriors will face me? We need to choose carefully, Park Hyun told his officers. This is not just about winning or losing. This is about showing them who we are. I will fight him, said Han Sol, stepping forward from the back of the room. Everyone turned to look at him. Han Sol was not a warrior. He was an engineer who worked on ship repairs. He was average height for a human, with kind eyes and gentle hands. He looked nothing like a fighter. Han Sol, this is not a joke, Captain Choi Bin said. Thex could kill you with one blow. Maybe, Han Sol replied calmly. But you asked who should represent humanity. I volunteer. Park Hyun studied the young engineer. Why you? Because I am what humans really are, Han Sol said. I am not special. I am not the strongest or the fastest. I am just a normal person who fixes things when they break. If they want to understand humans, they should meet a real one. Dr. Yoon Ko, the fleet's chief medical officer, started to argue, but Park Hyun raised his hand. Han Sol will represent us. The combat arena was set up in the main docking bay of the council station. Representatives from every species came to watch. Betting pools were already running, and no one was betting on the human. Han Sol arrived wearing simple clothes and carrying basic weapons, a metal sword and a round shield that looked ancient compared to Council. Technology. Thex examined the human weapons and laughed again. These tools are from primitive times. I will try not to hurt you too badly, little human. Thank you for your concern, Han Sol replied politely. I will also try to be careful. The crowd found this funny. How could this small, soft creature be careful with someone like Thex? The fight began with traditional ceremony. Thex moved first, his crystal fist swinging down with enough force to crack stone. The crowd expected to see the human crushed instantly. Instead, Han Sol was simply not there anymore. The human had moved so fast that most of the audience missed it. One moment he was standing in front of Thex's fist. The next he was behind the crystal warrior. Thex spun around, confused. How did you... His question was cut short as Han Sol's ancient sword cut through his crystal arm like it was made of glass. The crowd gasped. Nothing should be able to cut Thex's crystal body. Your crystal is very beautiful, Han Sol said, dodging another attack. But it has natural breaking points like all crystals do. Thex roared and charged again. This time Han Sol met the attack head-on. His shield blocked Thex's remaining arm, and the force of the impact sent shock waves through the arena. But instead of being crushed, Han Sol absorbed the blow and redirected it. Thex found himself thrown across the arena by his own strength. The fight continued for 10 more minutes. Every time Thex attacked, Han Sol was ready. The human moved like water, flowing around every strike. When he attacked back, his simple weapons found every weak point in Thex's crystal body. Finally, Thex lay on the ground. His crystal body cracked in dozens of places. He was defeated but not destroyed. Han Sol stood over him with his sword raised. The crowd waited for the killing blow. It was tradition. Instead, Han Sol put his sword away and knelt beside Thex. Are you hurt badly? He asked, examining the crystal warrior's injuries. You should finish me, Thex gasped. I am defeated. It is the law. Your laws are not my laws, Han Sol replied. He helped Thex sit up and called for Dr. Yun Ko. Doctor, can you help him? Yun Ko arrived with her medical kit. She looked at Thex's crystal body with interest. I have never treated a Korthak before, but I think I can help. She began applying some kind of glue to the cracks in his crystal skin. This is against all tradition, someone in the crowd shouted. Then maybe it is time for new traditions, Han Sol said simply. The council members watched in amazement as the human doctor worked to heal their champion. This had never happened before. Winners did not help the defeated, but the real shock came next. Leader Vorth had ordered a flight test. If the humans wanted to join the council, they needed to prove their ships could match council standards. A squadron of council's best pilots would race against one human ship. The human ship was called the Busan Runner. It was one of their smaller vessels with only 5 crew members. The council squadron had 12 ships with experienced pilots from 6 different species. Captain Lim Do commanded the Busan Runner. She was young for a ship captain with bright eyes and quick hands. She seemed excited rather than nervous. This should be interesting, she told her crew as they prepared to launch. The race course was set up around the council station, with obstacles and tight turns that would test any pilot's skills. The council pilots were confident. Their ships were designed for speed and agility. The race began, and immediately everyone realized something was wrong. The human ship was not just keeping up with the council squadron. It was playing with them. While the council ships carefully navigated each obstacle, the Busan Runner danced through the course like it was floating on air. It made turns that should have been impossible. It moved through spaces too small for any ship to fit. How are they doing that? Kim Yu asked, watching from the observation deck. Look at their acceleration readings, another observer replied. They are pulling forces that would kill any organic crew. On the Busan Runner, Captain Lim Do was having fun. Increase to 20% power, she told her engineer. 20%? The engineer asked. Are you sure? We might actually break something at that speed. Just for a minute, Lim Do laughed. The human ship suddenly moved so fast it became a blur. It completed the rest of the course in seconds, leaving the council pilots far behind. When the Busan Runner returned to dock, Dr. Yun Ko met them at the airlock. The council observers expected to find the human crew unconscious or dead from the extreme forces. Instead, they found Captain Lim Do and her crew arguing about what to have for lunch. How are you still alive? Kim Yu asked in amazement. Alive? Lim Do looked confused. Why would we not be alive? That was just a gentle flight test. Gentle? Kim Yu's forearms trembled. You pulled accelerations that would liquefy most organic beings. Dr. Yunko smiled. Oh, that. We have been dealing with high gravity and acceleration for thousands of years. Our bodies adapted to handle it. How much acceleration can you handle? Kim Yu asked weakly. Yunko thought for a moment. Well, today we were operating at about 15% of the ship's capacity. At full power, we could probably handle about 50 times what we did today. The council observers went very quiet. 50 times. The humans had been holding back by more than most council ships could even produce. That evening, Leader Vorth sat in his private chamber, looking out at the human fleet. They sat there peacefully, waiting for an answer to their membership request. But now he understood the truth. The humans were not asking to join the council because they needed protection or resources. They were asking because they were being polite. Kim Yu had not slept for 5 days. His forearms worked constantly at his research station, trying to find any information about these humans and their world called Earth. What he discovered made his blood run cold. The location data the humans had provided led to a region of space the council had marked as a dead zone over 400 years ago. No life should exist there. This cannot be right, Kim Yu muttered, checking his calculations again. The star called Sol by the humans was classified as extremely dangerous. It threw out deadly radiation storms that would sterilize any planet. The space around it was filled with asteroid belts and comets that would destroy any ship trying to pass through. Yet the humans called this place home. Leader Vorth arrived at Kim Yu's station with several other council scientists. What have you found? Sir, the humans live in hell, Kim Yu said simply. Look at these readings. The display showed Earth's location and conditions. The planet orbited through radiation storms that would kill most council species in minutes. Solar flares from their sun happened regularly, each one powerful enough to destroy electronic systems across half the galaxy. How did they survive this? Asked Dr. Kelth, a Thrain scientist whose species required very stable conditions to live. I do not know, Kim Yu replied, but it gets worse. He changed the display to show Earth itself. The planet was covered in violent weather systems. Massive storms with winds that could level cities, earthquakes that split continents, volcanoes that could change the climate of the entire world. They live on a planet that tries to kill them every day, Kim Yu explained, and they have lived there for millions of years. The council scientists stared in horror at the data. Request permission to speak with their cultural officer, Leader Vorth ordered. An hour later, Kang Min appeared on the communication screen. He was an older human with gray hair and laugh lines around his eyes. He looked friendly and harmless, which somehow made him more frightening. Greetings, Council Leader, Kang Min said with a bow. I understand you have questions about human history and culture. We have reviewed the location of your homeworld, Leader Vorth said carefully. The conditions there seem challenging, Kang Min laughed. Oh yes, Earth can be difficult sometimes, but it is home and we love it. Difficult? Kim Yu interrupted. Your sun produces radiation storms that would sterilize most worlds. The solar flares? Yes, they can be troublesome, Kang Min agreed. We learned to build our electronics to handle them many centuries ago. Sometimes we have to stay inside for a few days when a big one hits, but it is not so bad. The council scientists looked at each other in shock. These humans treated deadly radiation storms like bad weather. What about the asteroid belts around your system? Dr. Kelth asked. Oh, those, Kang Min smiled. We use them for mining now. Very convenient having all those metals and minerals so close to home. Some of the asteroids are quite large. We have built cities on a few of them. Cities? Leader Vorth's tentacles curled with stress. You built cities on flying rocks in space? Why not? The low gravity is nice for manufacturing and the view is spectacular. Kang Min seemed to notice their shocked expressions. Perhaps I should explain human history. Would that help you understand us better? Without waiting for an answer, he began to speak. Humans evolved on Earth during a very difficult time. Our planet went through ice ages that covered most of the land in frozen glaciers for thousands of years. We nearly went extinct several times. He showed them images of early humans surviving in caves, fighting giant animals with simple tools. Then there were the supervolcanoes. One eruption killed most humans alive at the time. Only a few thousand survived. The council members watched the images of massive explosions that blocked out the sun for years. We also had diseases that killed millions of our people regularly. Plagues that spread across continents, killing 1 out of every 3 humans. More images showed human cities empty of life, bodies in the streets, and then, when we finally learned to work together, we had wars. Terrible wars that killed hundreds of millions. We nearly destroyed ourselves with weapons that could level entire cities. The final images showed mushroom clouds rising over human settlements. But we survived all of it, Kang Min said proudly. Every disaster made us stronger. Every challenge taught us something new. We learned that working together was better than fighting. We learned to heal the sick and feed the hungry. We learned to reach for the stars. How many humans exist now? Leader Vorth asked quietly. On Earth? About 12 billion, but we have colonies on 47 other worlds now. 47 worlds? Kim Yu gasped. We only know of 15 species with more than one world. Most of our colony worlds are in what you would call dead zones, Kang Min explained. We prefer challenging environments. They remind us of home. Dr. Kelth leaned forward. What do you consider a challenging environment? Well, our newest colony is on a world with gravity 3 times heavier than Earth standard. The atmosphere is mostly acid and it rains liquid metal. But the mineral resources are excellent, and the colonists say the sunsets are beautiful. The council scientists were speechless. You colonized a world with acid atmosphere and metal rain? Kim Yu whispered. Oh yes. We have underwater cities on worlds covered in ocean, underground cities on worlds with no atmosphere, and floating cities on gas giant planets. Humans are very adaptable. Young pilot Lim Do appeared on screen next to Kang Min. May I add something, sir? Of course, Captain. The council members seem worried about our technology and abilities, Lim Do said. I want them to know that we have been very careful about revealing ourselves. Careful how? Leader Vorth asked. We have been studying you for 57 years, as Admiral Park Hyun said, but we could have made contact much earlier. We had the technology to reach council space over 200 years ago. 200 years. The humans had been capable of galactic travel since before some council species had even discovered fire. Why did you wait? Dr. Kelth asked. We wanted to make sure we would not frighten you, Lim Do said simply. Humans can be overwhelming. For species that evolved on safer worlds, we spent decades learning how to approach you peacefully. We also wanted to make sure we understood your cultures, Kang Min added. We have made mistakes before when meeting new people. We did not want to make the same errors with the council. What kind of mistakes? Leader Vorth asked, though he was not sure he wanted to know. Well, Kang Min looked embarrassed. The first time we met the Rigel traders, we accidentally started a trade war because we did not understand their gift-giving customs. And when we encountered the Vega colonies, we nearly caused a panic because our ships looked too much like their ancient war machines. You have met other species before us? Kim Yu asked. Oh yes, dozens of them. Most live in the outer rim territories beyond council space. We trade with them regularly. The council had no idea other intelligent species existed beyond their borders. These humans had been exploring and making contact across the galaxy, while the council thought they were alone in their small section of space. How many species have you encountered? Leader Vorth asked weakly. Intelligent species? About 86, though some are very small populations. We try to help the ones that need assistance. 86 species. The council only knew of 23, including themselves. What kind of assistance? Dr. Kelth asked. Medical aid, technology sharing, protection from raiders, Lim Do listed. Some species are still developing spaceflight, so we help them explore their local system safely. You help other species develop spaceflight? Kim Yu could barely speak. When they ask for help, yes. We remember what it was like to reach for the stars alone. It is better to have friends to help you. The communication ended, leaving the council chamber in stunned silence. These humans were not newcomers to galactic civilization. They were already the most advanced species in known space, with colonies across the galaxy and relationships with dozens of other species. They had not come to the council seeking membership because they needed it. They had come because they were being kind. The emergency alarm screamed across every council world at the same time. Deep space monitors had detected the worst possible news. The Devourer swarm was returning. Leader Vorth's tentacles went completely still when he saw the readings. The swarm was a nightmare from the council's darkest history. Living ships the size of cities that ate entire star systems, leaving nothing behind but empty space. How many? he asked Kim Yu, though he feared the answer. Thousands, Kim Yu replied, his forearms shaking as he worked the controls. Maybe tens of thousands. They are coming from the deep void beyond the galaxy's edge. The last time the swarm had attacked 300 years ago, they had consumed 7 star systems before the Council forces could stop them. Billions had died. Entire species had been wiped out. Send the emergency signal to all Council fleets, Leader Vorth ordered. Every ship, every soldier. This is survival. The human fleet was still waiting quietly at the edge of Council space when the emergency signal reached them. Admiral Park Hyun received the message and called his senior officers to the bridge. The Council is facing an invasion by something called the Devourer Swarm, he told them. From their descriptions, they are biological ships that consume everything in their path. Captain Choi Bin studied the data the Council had shared. Sir, their historical records show these creatures destroyed multiple star systems last time they appeared. The Council fleet is mobilizing, reported Odam from her strategy station. They have 237 ships total. The swarm appears to have several thousand. Lee Su looked up from her diplomatic console. Admiral, the Council has not asked for our help. Should we offer assistance? Park Hyun was quiet for a moment, thinking. Then he smiled. Send a message to Admiral Jang Woo. Tell him we need the response fleet here immediately. The entire response fleet, sir? Choi Bin asked. That seems like a large commitment for people who have not even accepted us as members yet. Captain, Park Hyun said gently, humans do not help others because we expect something in return. We help because it is right. 3 hours later, space around the Council station filled with human ships. Not 47 this time, but over 800. The response fleet had arrived from across human space, moving faster than should have been possible. Admiral Jang Woo appeared on screens throughout the Council station. He was older than Park Hyun, with steel-gray hair and calm eyes that had seen many battles. Council Leader Vorth, Jang Woo said formally, Earth offers full military assistance against the Devourer Swarm. We do not require Council membership or any payment. We simply ask permission to help defend innocent lives. Leader Vorth stared at the human admiral. 800 ships had appeared in just 3 hours. The Council's emergency mobilization would take days to complete, and the humans had already brought a fleet larger than anything the Council possessed. Admiral Jang Woo, Vorth replied carefully, we accept your generous offer. But I must warn you, the swarm is unlike any enemy you may have faced. They are not machines or ships with crews. They are living creatures the size of cities, and they cannot be reasoned with or defeated easily. We understand. Jang Woo nodded. We have reviewed your historical data. We have also sent advanced scouts to observe the approaching swarm. We believe we can help. The battle began 2 days later at the edge of the Kepler system. The Council fleet formed traditional defensive lines, preparing to make their stand around the inhabited planets. The Devourer swarm appeared out of hyperspace like a living nightmare. Massive organic shapes that pulsed with dark energy, each 1 kilometers long and covered in weapons that grew from their living hull. They moved not like ships but like hunting animals, flowing through space in patterns that followed no logical plan. All Council ships, maintain formation, ordered Fleet Admiral Gorthek over the communication system. We hold the line here. The swarm rushed toward the Council fleet with terrifying speed. As they closed the distance, the creatures began to emit a sound that traveled through space itself, a hungry roar that spoke of endless appetite. Then the human ships moved. Instead of forming defensive lines, the human fleet scattered in all directions. Some ships dove straight into the swarm formation. Others circled around to attack from behind. A few simply vanished from sensors entirely, only to reappear in the middle of enemy formations. What are they doing? Admiral Gorthek demanded. They are breaking formation. I do not think they use formations like we do. Kim Yu observed from his monitoring station. The humans fought like no species the Council had ever seen. Their ships moved through the swarm like predators hunting prey, striking fast and disappearing before the creatures could respond. Commander Go Yoon led a squadron of human fighters that danced between the massive swarm creatures, targeting specific points on their living hulls. Where her weapons struck, the creatures' own biology turned against them. Target the neural clusters, Go Yoon instructed her pilots. Make them think they are being attacked by their own kind. The strategy worked. Confused swarm creatures began fighting each other. Their simple minds unable to distinguish between human weapons and attacks, from their own species. But the real shock came when human boarding ships launched themselves directly at the swarm. Creatures, they are boarding the enemy, Admiral Gorthek gasped. That is suicide. The atmosphere inside those creatures is pure acid. Go Yun's voice came over the communication system from inside a swarm creature. Acid levels are manageable. Moving to the creature's brain center now. Manageable? Kim Yu whispered.
The acid inside those creatures can dissolve metal in seconds.
10 minutes later, the massive swarm creature Go-Un had boarded suddenly stopped moving. Then it turned and began attacking other swarm creatures. We have control of this one, Go-Un reported calmly. The neural override was easier than expected. Moving to the next target. Within 2 hours, the tide of battle had completely changed. The swarm creatures, which had seemed unstoppable, were now fighting each other as much as they were fighting the Council fleet. Human scientist Nam Su provided running commentary from her research ship. These creatures are actually quite simple biologically, she explained as she dissected captured swarm tissue. They have no complex problem-solving abilities. Once you understand their basic neural patterns, they are easy to confuse. Easy? Admiral Gorthek watched a human soldier walk through an environment that would kill him in seconds, casually planting devices that turned massive creatures into allies. This is your definition of easy? Well, Nam Su said thoughtfully, easier than the cave systems on Titan anyway. Those have acid and crushing gravity. The battle that the Council expected to last for days was over in 6 hours. The remaining swarm creatures, seeing too many of their kind turned against them, retreated into hyperspace. For the first time in recorded galactic history, the Devourer swarm had been defeated without losing a single star system. Casualty report, Admiral Jiang Wu requested. 17 human ships damaged, all repairable, came the reply. No human lives lost. Council casualties appear to be minimal as well. Leader Vorth contacted the human fleet from his station. Admiral Jiang Wu, the Council owes humanity a debt that can never be repaid. No debt is needed, Jiang Wu replied simply. We were happy to help, but why? Vorth asked. We had not even accepted your membership request. You gained nothing from helping us. Admiral Park Hyun appeared on screen next to Jiang Wu. Leader Vorth, may I tell you something about humans? Please. We help because that is what good neighbors do, Park Hyun explained. When someone is in trouble, you help them. You do not ask what you will get in return. You help because it is right. But the risk to your own people was acceptable, Park Hyun finished. Every human who came to this battle volunteered. We told them the dangers and they came anyway because they wanted to protect innocent lives. Kim Yu, who had watched the entire battle from his monitoring station, finally understood what made humans different from other species. They had evolved on a world that tried to kill them every day. They had survived disasters that would have destroyed other civilizations. They had learned that the only way to survive was to work together and help each other. And now they had brought that same philosophy to the galaxy. The membership vote will be tomorrow, Leader Vorth announced, though I believe the outcome is no longer in question. That night, as the human and Council fleets worked together to repair damage and rescue survivors, a new age began for galactic civilization, the age of humanity. The vote was unanimous. For the first time in Galactic Council history, every single member species voted the same way. Not because they all agreed, but because they all understood that opposing humanity was not an option anyone wanted to consider. Leader Vorth announced the results to a packed chamber. The motion to grant full membership status to the human species passes by unanimous consent. Welcome to the Galactic Council, humanity. Shinbo stood to accept the honor on behalf of Earth. She was younger than most diplomats, with short black hair and bright eyes that seemed to take in everything around her. She wore simple clothes that looked nothing like the elaborate robes of other species representatives. Thank you for this honor, Shinbo said, bowing to the assembly. Humanity looks forward to working with all Council species for the betterment of galactic civilization. Her words were polite and formal, but Kim Yu noticed something that made his skin crawl with fear. When Shinbo spoke of working together, she made it sound like an invitation, not a request. After the ceremony, the real changes began. Human ships appeared throughout Council space, but not as invaders. They came as helpers, offering services that no other species could provide. Baek Ho arrived at the Vegan trade stations with a proposal that stunned the merchants there. Humanity wanted to establish regular trade routes, but they were not interested in buying or selling the usual goods. "We would like to purchase your art," Baek Ho explained to the confused Vegan traders. "Music, paintings, sculptures, literature. We will pay very good prices for cultural works." "Art?" The lead trader's antennae twitched in confusion. "What use is art to a species with your technology?" "Art tells us who you are as people," Baek Ho replied. "It shows us how you see the universe. That knowledge is more valuable to us than any amount of metal or energy." The traders looked at each other. Humans wanted to buy things that most species considered worthless trinkets, and they were offering advanced technology in return. "We also offer some of our own cultural works for trade," Baek Ho continued. "Human music, stories, and art. Perhaps your people would find them interesting." Within days, human cultural works were spreading across council space. Their music was strange but captivating. It spoke of struggle and hope in ways that touched alien hearts. Their stories told of heroes who fought impossible odds and ordinary people who did extraordinary things. But it was their food that really amazed other species. "How did you make this?" asked a Thrain chef tasting human cuisine for the first time. The flavors were unlike anything in galactic cooking, complex combinations of sweet and spicy that created completely new sensations. "We learned to use many different ingredients because Earth is dangerous," explained the human cook. "Some of our food plants are actually poisonous to most species, but we learned to prepare them safely. This creates very interesting flavors." The chef's color changed to deep purple, which for Thrain meant extreme pleasure. "You eat poisonous plants for flavor?" "Only mildly poisonous," the cook laughed. "Very mildly." Meanwhile, Moon Guy was leading the first joint exploration mission beyond Council space. His crew included volunteers from 6 different species, all eager to see what lay beyond their familiar territory. "Captain Moon-Gi," asked Dr. Keltar, a Velkari scientist, "are you certain this environment is safe for us?" They were exploring a world with gravity twice as heavy as standard, an atmosphere full of volcanic gas and frequent earthquakes. To the alien crew members, it seemed like a vision of hell. "Oh yes, this is quite safe," Moon Guy replied cheerfully. "The gravity is only twice standard and the air is just mildly toxic. My daughter's school takes field trips to worlds like this." "Your children visit worlds like this for education?" Dr. Keltar's claws clicked nervously. "Of course. How else would they learn to handle different environments? Earth schools require students to spend time in various challenging conditions. It builds character." The alien crew members exchanged worried glances. Human children were trained in environments that would kill adult members of their species. But the discoveries they made together were worth the terror. Ruins of an ancient civilization, crystal formations that sang in the wind, and life forms that had adapted to conditions no one thought possible. "These creatures live in pure sulfuric acid," Dr. Keltar observed, studying the local wildlife. "Yes, they are quite beautiful," Moon-Gi agreed. "They remind me of the deep-sea creatures on Earth. Life finds a way to exist almost anywhere if you give it enough time." Back on the council station, Kim Yu was reviewing reports from across human space. What he learned made him realize that the council still had no idea what humanity really was. The 47 worlds that Kang Min had mentioned were just the beginning. Humans had settlements in over 300 star systems, many in regions that the council's computers marked as impossible for life. They had cities floating in the clouds of gas giant planets, underground colonies on worlds with no atmosphere, and research stations in the hearts of nebulae where radiation would sterilize any known life form. "How many humans exist in total?" Kim Yu asked during a communication with Earth Census Bureau. "Current galactic population is approximately 473 billion, came the reply from a helpful clerk named Park Soo Kim. Yu's forearms went limp. Nearly 500 billion humans were spread across the galaxy, and the council had never noticed them. "Where do you all live?" Kim Yu asked weakly. "Oh, everywhere, really," Park Soo replied. "We have research stations in black hole systems, mining colonies in asteroid belts, and farming communities on worlds with methane atmospheres. Humans are very adaptable." "Methane atmosphere farming?" "Yes, some crops grow very well in methane. The yield is excellent, though you have to be careful not to create too much oxygen as a waste product. It can be explosive." Kim Yu realized that humans had colonized the galaxy, while other species were still learning to travel between planets. They had done it so quietly and carefully that no one had noticed. The real revelation came when young human children began visiting the council station with their families. A small girl named Li Na, perhaps 8 years old, was playing in the station's central garden when she noticed that a decorative sculpture had fallen over. The sculpture was made of solid metal and weighed nearly 1,000 kilograms. It usually took mechanical lifts to move it. Li Na looked around, saw that no adults were nearby, and casually picked up the sculpture to set it back in place. "Oh no, I am so clumsy," she said to herself, carefully positioning the massive artwork. "Mama always says I need to be more careful around delicate things." Several alien observers watched in stunned silence as a human child handled 1,000-kilogram sculpture like it was a toy. "Is that normal for human children?" asked a visiting Gorvek ambassador. "Oh yes," replied the child's father, arriving to collect his daughter. "Na is always helping with things. Very considerate child, but she just lifted—" I know. We keep telling her to ask for help, but she is very independent." He turned to his daughter. "Nah, what did we say about moving heavy things without permission?" "Sorry, Papa, but it was just lying there and someone might trip over it." The father sighed. "Just be more careful next time, okay? Remember, not everyone is as strong as humans." As the family walked away, the alien stood staring at the sculpture. A human child had just casually demonstrated strength greater than most adult members of their species. That evening, Leader Vorth met privately with Admiral Park Hyun in his quarters. "Admiral," Vorth began carefully, "I need to ask you something directly." "Of course. Could humanity have conquered the galaxy whenever you chose to?" Park Hyun was quiet for a long moment. "Yes," he said finally. "Probably. But why would we want to? For resources. For territory. For power. We have all the resources we need," Park Hyun replied. "Space is infinite, so territory is not a problem. And power over others. That just creates problems and suffering. But surely some humans must want these things." "Some do," Park Hyun admitted. "But those humans usually volunteer for exploration missions to the edge of the galaxy, or research projects in dangerous areas. We give them challenges that satisfy their need for conquest without hurting anyone else." Vorth's tentacles curled with thought. "What do humans actually want from the galaxy?" "Friends," Park Hyun said simply. "We want to meet new people, learn new things, and help where we can. The universe is vast and beautiful, and it is better when shared with others. And if other species try to threaten or attack you," Park Hyun's expression grew serious, "we defend ourselves. But we try to do it in ways that teach rather than destroy. Most aggression comes from fear or misunderstanding. Once people understand that we are not a threat to them, they usually become friends. And if they do not, then we make sure they cannot hurt innocent people, and we keep trying to help them understand. Humans are very patient. We have had thousands of years of practice solving conflicts." That night, Vorth looked out at the human ship still stationed around the council space. They could have swept aside every defense the council possessed without effort. Instead, they waited politely for permission to help. The galaxy had changed forever, not through conquest or war, but through the simple decision of one species to be kind to their neighbors.